And good morning, Central Louisiana, and welcome to Tuesdays on Talkback. I'm your host, Sandra McQueen, joined in the studio joining me in the studio today is Nathan Martin. Good morning, Nathan.
Hey, good morning. How are you, Sandra?
I'm great, and everyone, welcome to the show. It's a beautiful day out there, and be glad when we get a little more light earlier in the day. I'm kind of tired of coming in here in the dark.
Right. You were getting used to it before last week. It was, if the sun, well, the sun wasn't up, but at least it was a bright day. The day was brightening. And then yesterday I heard you and Al talk about that. Today was my first day to leave the house at that hour, and like, wow, it's dark again.
Yeah, no, it's and I feel, for the school kids, so be super careful. I noticed coming in, I ran into a bus, not literally, but figuratively on my way here.
Right.
And it was dark, and thank goodness the bus had the stop sign out, because, it was hard to see the little kids. The street did not have a light on it, and I was grateful for the school bus, although I will say the school bus only had one headlight, so I'm surprised they let it leave the garage with only one headlight. But that said, just watch out for the children, because they're back to going to school in the dark.
Absolutely, yeah. So I had similar thoughts this morning. I saw several buses on the way and was kind of glad they have extra reflective yellow tape around doors and stuff like that. And it's really good to bring your attention to it. So I'm sure that headlight will be checked out. They have a pretty good fleet of mechanics over there, so they run their own in-house operations. So yeah, definitely be on the lookout for them. And as you're traveling in, I heard you and Al talk yesterday about, changing daylight saving time. Which one would you want to keep? Would you want to have the one we have during the wintertime or the one we have now?
Pick one. I'm okay. Probably more, what would that be? Central Daylight Time? Is that what we just came out? I don't know. Whatever we came out of, I don't dislike, but, it doesn't matter to me. Let's just pick one and stick with it, because it was interesting. Even yesterday morning, I have some colleagues that are in Arizona, and they don't change clocks. And when they came in, they had to change the meetings, because they were like, oh, I didn't think about the fact y'all are all changing clocks. And I had 3 meetings that all ended up in different time zones on the same time. And they were just like, they had to blow up their calendar and start over yesterday.
Well, and, I get it that when this was instituted, decades ago, part of it had to do with giving more daylight to farmers. Yes. Right. But that's not as big a deal anymore. I mean, they're going to operate during daylight and sunset anyway. And with technology, there's so many things if you need to do. We have great lights nowadays. Ball fields are going on until midnight anyway. So I don't know that the benefit that it was in an agrarian society 100 years ago is the same benefit today.
I would agree with you. So if someone has a rationale for why we should keep it, we would love to hear.
The only thing I would say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I do like your idea of let's just have one more fallback and then leave it there.
Leave it there. I would be fine to get my hour back. So I agree. Well, we got a great show today at 8:05. We will have our monthly visit with Joe Bishop, the mayor of Pineville. So he'll catch us up on city council. And I know they had the ribbon cutting on the is it Central State Hospital? What are they calling it now?
Central State Hospital.
Central State Hospital. And
or maybe it's Central Louisiana State. I think it's Central State Hospital.
We'll get him to confirm, and we'll get an update on what's happening with the old Central State property and all things Pineville this morning, starting at 8:05. But before we dive into that, Nathan and I were talking before we joined you on the air, that in our show prep today, it said today is the 5th anniversary of the COVID pandemic. And that was, it's hard to believe that it's been 5 years. It was March 11th, 2023. And you and I were talking about, I remember that day very vividly. I was at England at the time, and that was on a Wednesday, and Friday the 13th, we had a huge event planned for, at that time, it had been Fort Polk, now Fort Johnson, but we had a board retreat planned, and because we had such a close relationship with Fort Johnson and what they do with the training exercises, and we were having a huge community dinner over there. I think, Mayor Fields at that time was playing. Like, we had anybody from Central Louisiana planning to be in Leesville on post for this event. And the president spoke that night. And I called the general staff, and I'm like, I don't really know what's going on with all this, but gosh, do you think we better cancel the dinner? And we felt stupid even having that conversation. Right. Oh, we're big panics, we're alarmists. And finally get the general on, and it's like, we don't know what's happening. The president's address kind of was, okay, well, maybe there's more to this than maybe we don't know. Let's just let's just, in the interest of being cautious, let's just go ahead and postpone. We'll get it back on the calendar. Of course, it took months to get that on the calendar, but we'll find another date. But yeah, it probably makes sense. Let's postpone it. And then by that Friday, school shut down, like the world stopped spinning for all practical purposes on Friday, March 13th.
Well, I'm looking at my calendar. I pulled up my calendar 5 years ago, and that Friday afternoon at noon, I had on my calendar, I have a meeting with a local bank representative that come in to talk to us at the church about, some of our funds. And as we're sitting there talking, my phone dinged. I looked down and there was a news notification that Rapides Parish School Board of Schools were effectively being closed, period. And when I said that, the lady banker that was there, just the look on her face was kind of like this is real. Up until now, you're not sure how real is this, how big of a deal, what will the impact be? But when they closed the schools down, there was like, okay, this is real.
Yeah, and I never, though, in a million years thought my kids would not go back to school.
Right.
That was just it just never even occurred to me that was it. And then we were scrambling to figure out how to go online. I mean, I just never in a million years, it just seemed like it was just, I don't even want to say it was a dream. It was a nightmare. I mean, it was just like you're watching this crazy, Contagion movie and going, what in the world is going on? And this would never happen. And it did. And just, I remember the frustration of, everything kids were losing, graduations, sports seasons. And yes, there was a seriousness. You had a lot of people who lost family members and loved ones. And it was a terrible crisis from that perspective. But I just remember my heart breaking for all these young people and what this shutdown and even though our show prep says they lifted the global health emergency 2 months later on May 14th, they may have lifted the health emergency, but those restrictions stayed in place way too long.
No, they really did. I remember several things happened during that time frame. One of the things I did when there was such uncertainty, or starting probably the following week, I don't know why I did it one night and people liked it. I grabbed my guitar and I just did this live on Facebook, just started singing songs. And over the next month or so, every single night I would get on there for 30 minutes to an hour and just play songs, hymns and contemporary Christian music, whatever, take requests, chat with people. And it was just like this, trying to bring some sort of normalcy and connection point. And I have so many friends who I made during that time that later talked to me about how that meant, something to them, because there was nothing normal about what was going on. Felt like you were living in a dystopian movie.
Yes, exactly.
So, and I can remember the build up to it. Like 3 weeks before that, I had been in South Mexico on one of my annual trips down there. A friend of mine from our church had gone with me. When we flew down, we noticed in Mexico City, and I've shared this before, but just real quickly, we noticed in Mexico City, all of the incoming passengers from Asia had masks on. And we thought to ourselves, or we even commented, well, Japan does that a lot. You'll see news reports, people in the subways wearing masks. They're very hygienic, very health conscious. No big, So we didn't think much of it. And then 1 week later, we're returning back to the States. We're in Mexico City again. Everybody's got a mask on. Everybody. And it's like, something's weird going on right now. So, there was just these buildups to it. I laughed also, if you remember, you couldn't go get a haircut. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
And so I forget why, but KLB had done an interview with me. I think Stephen Maxwell had interviewed me over Zoom, and Al was still the anchor at that time. And when I wish Al was here, because I hope he'll remember this. When they got through doing the interview, I hadn't had a haircut in like 2 or 3 months. My beard had fully grown out. And Al said, was that Nathan Martin or was that Grizzly Adams?
Oh, that's hilarious. That's pretty funny. Well, I remember, and of course, with an airport, and as you were saying, air travel completely changed on a dime. Of course, it, all but shuttered the airlines. I mean, we still had the flights, but you'd have 4 people on an airplane and, trying to figure out the distancing and trying to keep some level of operations at the airport and dealing with all the mask requirements and 6 feet apart. And I remember, though, we launched a Fly Safe AEX campaign to kind of educate people about what the rules were. And you talk about funny interviews. So luckily, this was a taped interview they were going to run later. But I was talking about the program, what it meant, kind of understanding what you have to do to be in the air right now. And so I was talking about our Fly Safe AEX initiative. And so I was going to jump right into my soundbite, and I go, yeah, it's all about fly safe sex.
Oh.
And I was like, and the reporter and I looked at each other, and we died laughing. And I'm like, oh, I'm so glad we can recut that. That was like, I thought one of my colleagues just about died. She was laughing in the floor. I mean, she was rolling. She was laughing.
To the Fall High Club.
I was like, no, fly. And then every time I did a talk or anything, I was like, fly safe. AEX.
I noticed even when you started saying a while ago, you had a little pause in there. Like, she's trying really careful to say that. And my brain didn't make the connection until you, I can see that. Yeah.
So that was one of the more lighthearted moments, but it was, anybody running companies trying to decide, can you keep a line operational? I mean, it was just, as you said, it was unlike anything I'd ever tried to manage or do before.
I wish I had bought some Zoom stock, though, like the week before it happened.
Well, and I've always thought, I've never understand. I need to go find a case study in this, how Skype lost the video. Because Skype was about the only game in town. And then Zoom and Teams and all of these other applications came into being. But it's like, what happened to Skype? That was really the only thing I'd ever used for video.
And they just got shuttered, I think, just in the last week or so. But I think it's because Zoom offered some business-friendly tools that Skype didn't have. Skype was just straight-up conferencing.
But you would have thought they could have, with having the platform, could have maneuvered and foreseen the future, because now I live by video conferencing. I do it all day long, which is great because it's allowed me to build a national practice, because I don't have to. I can be in front of clients and colleagues without having to travel. So, well, let's do this. Let's take our first break, and then caller, if you'll stay on the line, we'll come back to you right after this.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics, with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. The mood in financial markets was better this morning, but investors remain nervous. And there is a long way to go to make up for the recent market turmoil and the big drop on Wall Street yesterday. Investors are worried that tariffs and government firings will hit the U.S. economy. The Nasdaq fell 4%. Tesla shares fell 15% yesterday. And NVIDIA drove a closely watched gauge of chip makers to the lowest level since April. Big changes are coming to the bag policy at Southwest Airlines. The company says it will begin charging some customers for checked bags, ending the 2 free checked bags policy that's been the airline's hallmark since its founding more than 5 decades ago. It's the latest big shift for Southwest in the wake of pressure from an activist investor. The look of the operating systems that power iPhones, iPads, and Mac computers will be changing. Apple is said to be planning one of its most dramatic software overhauls in its history. The revamp will be introduced later this year. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
Did you know at Alexandria International Airport, you can go from roadway to runway in minutes? From Coliseum Boulevard to the Coliseum of Rome. From the recreation area at Indian Creek to the beaches of Hawaii. From the Riverfront Amphitheater to the Hollywood Bowl in Los Angeles. AEX, your destination to the world starts here. To book a flight or for more information, visit flyaex.org.
Want quality water in your home? Get a whole house water filtration system installed by Southern Air Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, and say goodbye to contaminants like chlorine, sediments, heavy metals, and more. They'll also clear your drains, repair and replace pipes, and even do trenchless repair, replacing pipe underground without digging up the yard. Financing is available. Southern Air Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, 318-777-5555, or visit southernairnow.com for details.
If you'd like to take part in the show today, call the BOM Bank Talkline at 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. And remember, if you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, call Christina Bagwell at the BOM Bank Mortgage Department at 448-2430.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. Now back to Talkback.
And welcome back, and let's go to the phones. Good morning, you're on Talkback.
Yeah, as long as we're reminiscing about the pandemic, I would like to tell you what I reminisce about. I remember calling into this very station and telling people that a virus didn't know the difference between 59.5 inches and 60 inches. They're telling them that an N95 mask didn't stop particulates smaller than that. telling them that a vaccine that doesn't inoculate you is not really a vaccine. They're telling you that a horse wormer that stopped a virus was more than just a horse wormer. And I'll tell you what I'm going to remember. I'm going to remember all the public officials that told us those lies. And I'll vote for a yellow dog before I vote for somebody that supported all that BS.
I remember your calls, and I remember being on the receiving end of some of that ire. And obviously, you were right. I'll look you in the eye and say that you were right.
Right, and I remember people saying things like, "Well, I'm a minister and a public official, so I'm trying to support both policies." And all I'll say to that is, it's difficult to serve two masters.
Again.
Right. Well, remember that being right is also a predictor of the future. So the next time the public officials tell us all that, instead of saying you're right afterwards, maybe we should resist.
I'm going to turn that down just a bit. Yeah, no, I definitely think the citizens, if nothing else, public officials as well, will take a much different stance should this ever happen again in our lifetime.
Well, it certainly destroyed trust in authoritarian structures. No doubt about it.
Well, in medical structures too.
Right.
All that was made up. I mean, it's not the first time. So everybody acts like this pandemic was the first time. Do y'all remember? If you're an old man like me, you remember the AIDS scare.
The what?
And everybody, the AIDS scare.
Oh, AIDS.
And everybody. Yeah, and the truth was, all the things that the same people told us, Dr. Fauci was involved in that as well. All the BS they told us about that. I mean, where did AIDS go? All of a sudden, AIDS isn't around anymore. Nobody talks about it.
Yeah, almost an attempt to normalize. But I guess my struggle at that time, I was talking to medical professionals that I trusted, and I was leading. I don't have any education in the medical field, and so feeling a responsibility to care for people, I repeated information from people that I trusted, and I think with the best interest at heart, they may have been repeating information that they received as well. I think all of us are now becoming more inclined towards researching for ourselves, and that's a good thing. But no, you're right. I can't dispute what you said.
Well, let's just remember it next time that they say that. When they say that, stand 6 feet apart, don't get a haircut. Let's all remember that they're practicing medicine. They're not prophesizing medicine.
Well, appreciate it.
Thank you for your call. We appreciate it as always. All right, let's continue with the callers. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Hey, good morning. Thank you for taking my call. That caller really highlighted the importance of the times that we are in, and I grew up not really worrying about government. I was interested in government. I remember in the 80s, I would have to go to PBS to find some debates or something on government, because I think both parties were more aligned with American values, and they wanted America to succeed. And so you knew that one would win this time and the other would win next time, but we were all going in a good general direction. Well, that's changed, and that's a bad thing, but some good things have come from it. As the left gained control of the Democratic Party, they were intent on the destruction of traditional America. They wanted to wipe out the family because the leftist ideology wants control, and they know that our greatest and dearest relationships are within the family. And we know these dystopian novels that came up, in the 20th century, all envisioned it coming from the right, but it came from the left. The takeover, and so we're in a situation now where we all have to be involved in government, because we don't know. These people make good speeches, but as was demonstrated 5 years ago that y'all are bringing to light today, people seize this opportunity for control to impose upon us things that we would never have accepted before. And now, like Nathan said, we're very distrustful of those people. And it calls us all to a vigilance. And I guess it's what Jefferson meant when he said the price of liberty is eternal vigilance. We had gotten complacent because our system had yielded such good results. But now we realize that people could usurp our system and actually do great harm. I thought too, Sandra, about those kids because, growing up in athletics and having 4 kids in athletics. Now, my kids were all grown, and I was thankful for that. But, they missed some windows of their life they could never get back. And the growth that they would have gotten from those things. So some people took control. They stifled voices that were dissenting. And now we know those voices were true.
Mm-hmm.
Just like everything that the previous caller mentioned. And so we've got to not tire in our vigilance. Right now, we're in a better place, I think, and we have a chance even of getting a grip of this debt. But we cannot go back to where we were, where we just trusted somebody else to make the decision and that everything was going to work out well in the end. We found out that it may not. Ideas have consequences, and people motivated by leftist ideas are a menace to our society. And I don't say that meaning we need to outlaw those ideas. I think we need to defeat those ideas with better ideas, the ideas that result in human thriving. That should be the end of all our politics, a better life for the citizens that live under those politics. Anyway, I didn't mean to go on so long.
Oh, no, you didn't. But, I think to your point, too, I think Trump sort of learned a lesson through that process as well. I mean, like you, Nathan, he trusted the people that were in place to be providing him with good counsel, good information. And, and I think that's part of why he has come in and basically said, I'm going to bring in all outsiders.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't trust anything in Washington because it really derailed him in many respects.
Absolutely.
Y'all have a great day.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right. Well, we're going to go to our next break. And if our callers will hang on, we'll be back to you right after this.
KSYL. Your teeth are in need of a little dental work, but you're putting it off. Why? Could it be you can't stand the thought of wearing old-timey adhesive-filled dentures? Is it the high cost of dental implants? Or is it just the concept of having a dentist poking around inside your mouth? Whatever your reason, today's Dental in Pineville has it covered. And with hundreds of smiling, satisfied patients, they've made getting implants amazingly simple, low anxiety, and affordable for everyone. And with calming in-office IV sedation administered by a highly skilled certified nurse anesthetist, your anxiety will all but slip away. Plus, their multiple finance options make implants truly affordable. So why wait? If you're looking to replace your old-timey denture with permanent implants, give Today's Dental on Highway 28 East in Pineville a call at 448-4540. It's a general dental facility owned by Dr. Jonas Goche. 448-4540.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090.
Now back to Talkback, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
And we're going to go back to the phones. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Hi, good morning. I think, one commonality is that we're all humans. And with this particular pandemic or situation, we trusted people that had no more information than we did. They quite literally had no more information than we did. I know one of y'all mentioned something about trusting doctors and trusting people that we knew to have correct information, and I fell to that myself. But then at the end of the day, I realized, wait, they have no more information than I did. This was not a typical medical situation, right. And I think not that we should ever have upheaval and uprisal within our people, but even in recent history, meaning in the last 5-6 years, we've had so many situations where the government, where politicians, whoever, have tried to make massive changes on us, the American people, without our consent, without our knowledge, without asking us. Small things, such as, if y'all remember, about 5 or 6 years ago, they told us all that if you don't get new debit cards, we're going to chips only. We're not going to use the mag stripe. Your card will not work. You have to get a new debit card. And guess who's still using mag stripes? They did the same thing twice in the last 5 to 6 years about our license. If you don't get a special license, you can't fly. We're not going to allow you to get on an airplane. Well, guess who's still flying? You know, they don't have as much power as they think, and they only have as much power as we give them. So, you know, as human beings, we have to hold them to a certain standard. They're not royalty. They're just politicians, you know. And in most cases, it's our fault for voting them in. So we just got to keep that in mind, you know.
Yeah.
But y'all have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your call. You know, speaking from that side of things, when you're given a position of responsibility, you feel the weight of that. And when you don't know the information, you go to people, trusted sources. I, at least once, I think twice during that pandemic, I actually hosted like a medical roundtable. I remember, I think I had Dr. Hunter, I think Dr. Elkins, Dr. Bass, you know, all on a Facebook Live where we were talking, taking questions and talking, just trying to get as much information as possible. I will say that in the medical community, I did discover some disagreement. I remember 2 doctors who I highly respect and highly look up to this day, have tremendous respect for them. And I'm not going to say towed the line, but they did research, and what they saw led them to make the decisions and the recommendations they made. There was another doctor who was a little bit more homeopathic, a little more, you know, he didn't take the vaccine himself and his family. And his point was he did research for himself. He wouldn't give anybody else advice on what they should do. He simply said, you know, you need to, and he did say if you had these high risk factors or whatnot, he recommended that if you were on a higher scale of things. But so there was some conflicting information. I think the thing that bothers me the most, though, was the censorship that we discovered later was taking place from Facebook and Twitter, national news, and that all came out with the X-Files. And when, you know, Elon Musk buys Twitter, we discovered and that to me is the scariest platform. You know, as long as there's a voice or the dissenting voice is allowed, and, you know, to the friend that calls in often, and I appreciate your calls, I really do, though I know I'm on the pointed end of that. That's okay. As KSYL provides this platform, and I'm honored to get to be a part of this, and I hope I think it's such, you know, Dave Dagerpon often comments about how this is such a unique thing, even in Louisiana, to have this kind of a program, and I hope that continues, because the conversation is important, and I think we're all better educated because of it.
No doubt about it. And you're right. That was, I mean, the fact that you couldn't have an opposing viewpoint or opinion on this issue for the length that this went on. You're absolutely right. That was one of the biggest, I think, takeaways that and one of the biggest sort of concerns we uncovered in this. And, you know, and as elected officials, appointed officials, I mean, running England, it was a political subdivision of the state. So, you know, a lot of times too, we were under direct orders, as were you, following the guidelines of the local health department as an elected official about what you could do in Pineville. And why you don't say, I was just following orders, and sounds like a terrible excuse. We had directives that we had to figure out how to execute to the best of our ability.
Our church went to online service. Thankfully we had been streaming online for many years. That's something we had been doing previously, so it was very easy to continue doing that. But as soon as the first, you know, the ban on meetings was lifted and we could do outdoor, we immediately went to that. And you know, there's a great debate about, there's a pastor down in Baton Rouge that never stopped meeting, and there's lawsuits about that. I respect his opinion on that. I pray this never happens again in our lifetime, but I think many of us would make some different choices if it did.
We would, but at the end of the day, too, there were a lot of unknowns, and making decisions in the best interest of public safety was still a good decision, even if it may have been overkill and some of it unnecessary, if it kept every employee safe.
You make the best decision you can with the information you have at the moment.
Exactly.
And that's it. That's all you can do.
That's it. Well, let's go back to the phones. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Good morning. Enjoy the show. I had a question for both of y'all. How often is the state or the city, I don't know whose responsibility it is, to restripe the roads like on the Pineville Expressway?
That's a great question. Pineville Expressway is under the direct supervision of DOTD. So that would be there. I mean, the city absolutely cannot do any kind of work on it without DOTD permission. But I don't know what the indications are for timeline of striping.
Yeah, I don't know what the maintenance cycle is, but Nathan's correct. It depends on if it's a local or a state road or a federal interstate will determine who has responsibility for it. And then I don't know do you have any city roads that are striped?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So who would be the I don't know, the city council person that's got that responsibility in the city of Pineville that could check on that?
No, obviously, if you have a specific road in mind, call the councilman in whose district that road is, and that would.
I'm talking about the Pineville Expressway.
Oh, the expressway. I'll reach out to DOTD myself and find out for you, and I'll get Mayor Bishop. And I'll share with him when he comes in, and together, we meet with DOT. He and I both serve on the Metropolitan Planning Organization, so we're with DOTD from time to time, and we have frequent conversations with them. So we'll certainly follow up on that.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Sir.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right. Let's go back. Let's take our next break, and then we'll come back with your phone calls right after this.
Talkback is sponsored by the clinics with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
Attention all real estate agents, property owners, and lenders. When you or a client needs a real estate attorney, call the professionals at Thompson Law Firm. Whether the legal matter is basic or complex, the Thompson Law Firm can accurately guide you or your client to a successful outcome. That's why numerous industry professionals have trusted the Thompson Law Firm for years. They also handle estate planning, successions, and business law. Call them at 473-0052. I am a paid non-client attorney spokesperson.
We got it going on here in Sinlaw.
The Holy Savior Menard Annual Spring Fundraiser, Shamrockin' Fest. It's coming to the Randolph Riverfront Center on Saturday, March 15th. A silent auction, live music, delicious food, and custom beverages, all benefiting Holy Savior Menard High School. Get details at hsmfest.com.
Who doesn't love moon pies? Let's celebrate as the town of Ball hosts the 2nd annual Moon Pie Festival on Saturday, March 22nd. Bring out the whole family for fun, food, music, and more.
Don't miss the Kent House Spring Herb Day, Arts and Crafts Festival, and Yard Sale on Saturday, April 5th. Historic Kent Plantation House hosts this annual Sinlaw favorite that's packed full of plants for your home and garden, local arts, crafts, yard sale items, and food vendors. Get the details at kenthouse.org.
And on Wednesday evening, April 16th, the Arts Council of Central Louisiana presents Surf Mechanics Pedal Punk at Coughlin Saunders. Pedal Punk is a steampunk-inspired acrobatic experience of excitement, artistry, and thrills. Get your tickets today.
Sinlaw Broadcasting, keeping Central Louisiana live and local.
Do you want to take a vacation every day? Do you want to know where your children are this coming summer? Then call A1 Pools now and have a swimming pool installed in your yard. A1 Pools can build your pool and have you swimming with your family before summer starts. Make a splash. Call A1 Pools now and get a free quote. Call 318-449-2093. And financing is available. Call A1 Pools now. 318-449-2093.
Talk. To take part of the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK.
And we're going to go back to the phones. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Yes. Hey, last night on Channel 5, they had a man talking about this entertainment center in Ellick. And it sounded like it was near or next to the Coliseum. So I just wonder if you or Nathan knows what the deal is on this entertainment center, or if you don't, if somebody could call in. I'm just curious with the Coliseum there, why is an entertainment center there? I'm sure there's a good reason, so I'll just hang up and listen.
Yeah, so that's actually just a renamed exhibition hall. It's the same, the old hall that was called the exhibition hall for years is now called the entertainment center. It's the same building. It's been completely gutted, I think, and redone on the inside. And so they gave it a new name. But if you've been to the Coliseum in years gone by, you ever went to the exhibition hall or the exhibits hall next to the Coliseum, it's that building right there.
I know it says it connected to the Coliseum. I had the same question the caller did when I saw the story. So
no, it's not connected, but I mean, it's maybe 50 yards apart. You know, it's just right next door in
And
the parking lot.
Laborde and Earls took the naming rights
Of the
for
Coliseum.
but they also call it the Laborde and Earls
did they?
Entertainment Center.
Okay.
So I was going to ask you, did they have the Coliseum and the Entertainment
I don't
Center, or
know.
just one piece?
I don't know. I have not seen it on the Entertainment Center. I was fortunate to get to do some streaming for the Red River Athletic Conference tournament that was held at the Laborde Earls Coliseum, and we had to make sure we said it right all the time, even though all the signage still says Rapides Parish Coliseum on the court and on the scoreboard and everywhere else. But they're working on that. But I don't know how whether the naming went to the.
It says Laborde Earls Entertainment
So
Center in
apparently
the
it did.
headline, so they have both
Apparently it did.
facilities, I guess.
Well,
They must.
kudos to them.
But and your mayor is a former police sheriff, so maybe he can shed some light on the naming rights. But thank you for our caller. All right, the phones are lit. Let's go back. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is totally off the subject, but y'all talking about. I do not watch any of the award shows because they're so political.
Mm-hmm.
But I read about them, and I read about this movie that won 5 Oscars called Honora. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, do not watch that movie. It is about as close to pornography as you can get. The script was very limited. If you know the F word and the MF word, you could do all the lines of the movie.
Wow.
And it is very disgusting to watch. Do not watch Honora.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
I have not seen it, so.
No, me either. I mean, first I heard of it was when it won the Oscar, so I had never even heard of it. So thank you for that public service announcement there.
You cannot, if you compare that to a movie like No Country for Old Men or The Departed or A Beautiful Life, Gladiator, this would not fit anywhere.
Wow.
This is it's a disgusting piece of garbage.
Wow.
Wow. All right. Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you for that. That's not one. I hadn't seen most of the movies that were on the Best Picture list. So, but thank you. Thank you for your review of that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Have a great day. We're going to go to the phones again. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Hey, Miss Sandra. Nathan, how are y'all this morning?
Doing good. How are you?
Hey, I just wanted to touch up on that entertainment center.
Yes.
Look, they did redo that like completely on the inside. So, because like used to, they would try to have music there, and it sounded terrible, and the sound was awful. But they did make a lot of improvements there, and also they don't use as much electricity as they do in the Coliseum when they just have a handful of people. I think that thing, they said it's like 2,100 people at the most. Where if you go in the Coliseum and have that many people, and it's more electricity burning and stuff, and then it's worth, I guess you'd say. But yeah, they improved that tremendously on the inside. They're still working on a little bit of stuff, but it's a lot better than what it used to be.
Great.
So, and that's where they're having the concerts and things like that. If they don't sell so many tickets, then they just leave it in there. And like I said, it's it's a nicer place.
Well,
I mean, the sound and stuff's real good. So I just wanted to let y'all know that.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you for that info.
Have a great day.
Y'all have a good day.
You
You too. All right. We'll try to squeeze one more in before the end of the hour. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, I didn't know if I was old. I just tuned in, so I'm not really sure what your topic is this morning, but I got a quick question. Do y'all have any information on what is coming next to Popeyes on MacArthur Drive?
Unfortunately, yes, we do. It's Popeyes. Our understanding is that they're building a new Popeyes building. The Antoon family of product companies food group is doing that, and so they're going to move their Popeyes to that new building, and then they'll probably turn around and lease the current Popeyes out to something else.
I see. Good. Maybe it's more parking.
Ah, well, maybe so. Maybe so. Never can tell.
Okay.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thanks. By the way, speaking of restaurants, in Pineville at the old Ryan's, a new sign went up this week. And I had been saying that I'd heard it was called En Fuego. It's actually Calle Fuego, CAYEFUEGO, Calle Fuego. And I think they have a website that's not fully functioning. Probably shouldn't.
Is that a chain or is that going to be a new local restaurant?
When
All
you
right.
go to the website, it looks like they say they have a button that says locations, but there's nothing information on that page. So it looks like maybe they're wanting to start a chain, but the very nice website and everything I can tell about the restaurant looks like it's being done first class. But Calle Fuego is the official name of the new Mexican restaurant in the old Ryan's.
You heard it here first, unless you saw the sign. So There we go. All right. Well, when we come back at 8:05, we'll be joined in the studio by Mayor Joe Bishop, and look forward to catching up with all things Pineville.
You've been listening to Talkback. The opinions expressed were those of the hosts and callers, and not necessarily those of Cenlaw Broadcasting.
FM 104.9, AM 970, KSYL, and KRRV 100.3 HP3, Alexandria. It's 8 o'clock. Is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Michael Wallace. Wall Street was looking to bounce back from yesterday's steep sell-off, but futures have just turned lower a half hour before the opening bell. CBS News Money Watch correspondent Kelly O'Grady.
Yesterday, it was not a one-day blip. That follows a week-long roller coaster on Wall Street where we saw all of those post-election gains wiped out. It is unclear what the long-term tariff picture looks like, and new fears of a recession are looming.
The House could vote today on the Republican spending plan to avert a government shutdown Friday night. CBS's Nicole Killian is on Capitol Hill.
Speaker Mike Johnson says he thinks he'll have the votes to pass a short-term plan to fund the government through the year. President Trump has backed the bill and reached out to some GOP lawmakers urging their support.
Democrats say the GOP bill does nothing to protect Social Security, Medicare, or Medicaid. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is meeting with Ukrainian officials in Saudi Arabia, looking for a way to end their war with Ukraine. Arizona Democratic Senator Mark Kelly hopes Ukraine can reclaim all the territory it has lost to Russia.
Ideally, I'd like to see them get all of it back and get the Russians kicked out of their country. And one day, I hope to see Putin rotting in a prison cell somewhere. I think that's a possibility.
Ukraine unleashed its largest drone attack on Russia yet, killing 3 people. A federal judge has temporarily blocked the deportation of Palestinian activist Mahmoud Khalil. Khalil was leading the protests at Columbia University before ICE arrested him Saturday. More from CBS's Lilia Luciano.
The student protesters told us Khalil's arrest has already had a chilling effect on free speech.
We've been really over monitoring ourselves and our speech right now, trying our best to just make sure it's not hurting any of our peers who are immigrants in any capacity.
A new report says 91% of the world's countries have air pollution that exceeds WHO standards.
Air quality technology company IQ Air measured readings from nearly 9,000 cities around the world. Among America's worst,
Los Angeles is now back at the top of that list.
IQ Air's Christy Chester Schroeder. Many Texas communities saw air quality worsen. They were downwind of air pollution from Mexico. Many northeastern cities saw their levels improve in 2024, no longer choked by smoke from Canadian wildfires. Vicki Barker, CBS News.
In Argentina, 7 medics who treated the late soccer star Diego Maradona are going on trial for negligence.
Maradona just walked away from Hutherland.
Maradona died after suffering a heart attack in 2020. The medics are accused of failing to properly care for him. This is CBS News.
Brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You could save big when you bundle your auto, home, motorcycle, RV, or boat. Visit Progressive.com.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But what if you could get both? Why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge, but It's also true that people wind up way more satisfied too. And we know this from research of members. There's a lot they like about MediShare, but especially they love being part of something they believe in. And MediShare works too. It has for more than 30 years. There are hundreds of thousands of members who love having telehealth if they need it. They love the huge PPO network. So yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or you're part of the gig economy or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Call 877-26-BIBLE. That's 877-26-BIBLE. 877-26-BIBLE.
Louisiana Radio Network, I'm Jeff Palermo. Insurance Commissioner Tim Temple says there are signs that the state's property insurance market is improving. In the 2024 legislative session, lawmakers approved several property insurance reforms, and Temple says since that time, the Department of Insurance has licensed 10 new homeowners insurers. Temple believes more competition will help bring down rates. He says in the first 2 months of 2025, the state has approved 7 rate decreases from residential insurers, all between 4 and 11%. He says that is more than the state approved for the calendar years of 2024, 2023, and 2022 combined. Temple says the reforms approved last year are also working faster than what Florida did.
Florida, who had a property crisis of their own that they dealt with over several special sessions, it took over a year and a half before they started seeing the impact.
This year, lawmakers are expected to look at auto insurance reform in the legislative session. LRN.
It's springtime in Cenla and time to explore. Feeling adventurous? Go biking or hiking in the National Forest or camping at the many recreation areas that offer canoeing, kayaking, boating, and fishing. Fun for the whole family. Check out the animals at the zoo, on a petting farm, or at a drive-through safari. Love golf? Then hit the links. And for those with a taste for freshness, don't miss our farmers market. Visit explorelouisiana.com to plan your trip today. Want more ideas? Go to alexandriapinevillela.com.
Our Tuesday a nice day with sunny skies, 76 the afternoon high. We'll see a southerly breeze at about 5 to 10. Clear skies tonight down to 48 for the overnight low. Our Wednesday, another sunny day. The afternoon highs near 78 degrees. And as we look ahead to Thursday, another nice day with sunshine. Afternoon highs near 84. And that's your forecast from the Cenla Broadcasting Weather Center. I'm Dave Gratian. Currently 42 degrees in Cenla.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics. With 27 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
It's Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show. Whether it's the guests or the callers, Talkback is where Central Louisiana begins its conversation.
And welcome back to Hour 2 of Talkback. Sandra McQueen, Nathan Martin, and joining us in the studio is the Mayor of Pineville, Joe Bishop. Good morning, Mayor. How are you today?
Everybody. Good morning.
Great to have you. And also joining is Chief of Staff Daryl Basco. Good morning, Daryl.
Hello.
Always glad to have you in the studio. So let's start this morning. I know you all have a full agenda coming up for the council meeting. So, Mayor, I'll let you take it away and walk us through it.
Well, thank you, Sandra. And once again, good morning, everyone. And here's an update on our coming up agenda tonight. So mark your calendars for March 11th at 5 p.m. So not 6 o'clock, 5 p.m. this evening.
That's a big important piece of news.
Pineville City Hall. Exactly, Nathan. And here's our full agenda. I encourage everyone to tune in or online or just join us in person at City Hall. Your present participation matters, okay? Taking care of old business. First up, we'll be doing our final approval on our mid-year budget for the current fiscal year of 24-25. We've made some necessary adjustments to ensure our maximizing our resources to serving our efficiency and want to be transparent about our tax dollars and being used to ensure and making responsible financial decisions. We're also making some changes to our code of ordinances. This includes discussions on sanitation services, making sure we are fair and equitable for everyone. Additionally, we'll be discussing adjusting water rates and sewer rates, keeping in mind the rising costs we're facing. Our goal is to maintain a high quality of these essential services while ensuring they are maintaining affordable for our residents. With a CPI adjustment, your complete bill will increase 2% overall, not 2% per services. So we want our citizens to understand that. So it's water, garbage, trash, and sewer. It's just 2% for the entire bill, not for each services. So talking about our rate increase, the rumor mill on social media has been churning a lot. On this one, since the last meeting, so I would like to give the listeners some facts about the CPI adjustment. First, we have not increased the rates yet. Some people on social media have stated that their bills have already gone up. If your bill has increased over the past month, then your consumption has increased. We have not implemented any increase or CPI adjustments yet. If you believe your bill has increased is an error, feel free to call the water department and we'll send one of our dedicated utility team members out to do a reread on your meter. If you still want to talk to someone, call and talk to our Troy Burns, our utility director. He will be happy to talk to you or come out and we'll look and reread your meter. Remember, if you've watered your grass or done some extra spring cleaning outside or inside the resident, then your water bill might probably go up, and that's due to your usage. Second fact, we're not making any increase because any settlement with the past city employee. The settlement that was made came out of our city coffer. We are not increasing our utility bills to pay for any civil matters. So we want to make that clear to our citizens that just because we paid a settlement, this is not the reason we're raising your rates, okay? Doing a comparison with other water providers across the state, we're the lowest 30% in Rapides Parish, and we're the second cheapest in Rapides Parish. So we're very proud of that. Pineville residents' fully utility bills are made up of water, sewer, garbage. Twice a week on your household garbage and once a week on your trash, which is outside debris like limbs and leaves. Speaking of leaves, we're spring cleaning we're trying to keep our drains clean, edging sidewalks, and also drainage projects in our area, cleaning creeks and little bayous and stuff in your neighborhoods. We're trying to get out limbs and trees that fell, but because of the beetle bark and the drought we had, last year. So we're trying to remove stuff like that out of our creeks to let the waters flow when we get little flash floods. So I'm very, very proud of the Public Works Department working on these issues as we speak. So, Darryl, you want to cover a little bit?
Well, just one thing to talk about with the deal. If you'll notice around town, we started using a lot of digital billboards lately. The one that came up last week is some of candid shots of our crews that's actually doing some of the cleaning that the mayor's talking about. Necessary grass mowing, some, the drain cleaning, those things that are kind of important. We also started a project where we're using little door hangers. If they're out cleaning streets and doing the drain maintenance, and look, we all do it, I do it. Where I live, fortunately, the state came through and did a big project, put in brand new drains in front of my house. And when I moved in and started cleaning up the new yard, I was like, oh, this is a great place to put all those leaves and all those grass clippings and everything. Well, it took for the first good rain to come down Military Highway. And I'm looking out my front yard, and it's just a huge water puddle, like a swimming pool. I looked at my wife. I said, well, this is kind of disappointing. They got the new drains and everything. And she looked at me. She's like, well, dummy, you put all of the leaves on the drain cover, so you clogged it up. So that's what made me think about it, that, if I don't think about it and initially, then maybe everybody else kind of needs a reminder. So that's one of the things that we're doing. So if you get a tag on your door, don't be offended by it. That's just part of the thing that we saw leaves close to your drain, the crews when they're out there. So they're going to go up and stick the tag that, hey, a little bit of a reminder, maybe put it further up on the curb or put it downwind of the drain or downstream of the drain, or stick it right up on a little grassy area. That's what I've done. I've kind of dedicated a little grassy area in my own yard to put it. One of the things that the mayor was talking about the CPI, something that people have to understand, the change in the ordinance that came about, the original ordinance, or what the change of the ordinance is that the city, and Councilman, this was bound to that CPI. That's right. whatever the CPI was is what we had to actually move into. Well, the change in the ordinance gives with the council's approval, the mayor will have the option in the future to go under that number. So this year it's 2.9. The mayor made the decision with the approval of the council to say we're going to do it at 2% instead of 2.9. Of course, if it goes backwards, if we have a CPI that goes backwards, then it'll get rolled back. But it gives the council and the mayor the option that if for some disastrous reason CPI is 8% next year, they can say, no, we're in good financial position. We're not going to do the 8%. We're going to do a 1% or 1.5 or 2, whatever financially may be. One of the things that I didn't realize getting involved in this and doing the research on how we could move the ordinance is that one of the things that, I think on the agenda, y'all are going to do substantial complete on Huffman Street or Cedar Lake, I think is what it is.
Well, I know we're doing it also on the generators for the water
generators. Well, part of that is that where we get these grants from, they require us to show that the utility system, which Pineville only has water utility, that it's in good financial shape. So you have to show that you have these incremental increases to go along with time. And like the mayor said, it's 2% across everything. We had some confusion at the last council meeting with some people in the audience that David Humphreys, our financial director, addressed that they thought it was 2% on water, then another 2% on utilities, but it's a 2% across the board for everything. So you're not actually getting that 6% of every service that we do off.
It may look like it because you have to pass a separate ordinance for each one.
Correct.
But it's just 2%. It's not
just 2%.
6%. It's like 2 times 3 products.
Right. It's just 2% overall for all the products that we have, which is a good way to put it.
And the on people's utility bill, there's another line that says disposal, which is, if I'm not mistaken, that's the cost that it's not IESI now. What's the name of it? Waste management?
Waste disposal.
Waste disposal. Okay. So where we have to take all of our trash, they weigh that and then they send us a bill, and that's divided by the citizens. So it's not that.
It's a charge per tonnage that comes across.
Right.
That's right.
And so that isn't necessarily affected by the CPI. That's a pass through.
Right. It's whatever we have is divided amongst everybody that has that service with the city, and then it's how it's dispersed.
Right. Yeah. But to go back to your point, Mayor, a while ago, that Pineville is in the bottom 30% across the state and the second lowest in Rapides Parish, but while still having what I think is some of the best water out there, it says a lot about the crews that do the job and the way they're doing it well.
I totally agree with you, because when I wake up in the morning, I get a cup out of my cabinet and I fill it with ice and tap water out of my faucet, know, so I don't want to go grab a bottle of plastic water. So we have good clean water in Pineville, and I'm very proud of our employees that maintain a good system there.
I think Pineville water tastes great. So
I totally agree.
Excellent. Well, you've done an excellent job of breaking that down, but I will invite, if we have any callers that have questions on that issue, the BOM Bank Talkline is 318-442-8255. So, Mayor Bishop, what else is on the agenda?
Well, last week, getting off the agenda a little bit, we had a ribbon cutting at the new Central State Hospital on Eslefield Road, just right across the street from Camp Boulevard. And that facility houses 116 patients there that they work with on a daily basis. And that was a center that we needed here, very important for Central Louisiana. We had Central State Hospital, which was downtown Pineville, where I was raised and stuff. And when I was a kid, that facility held way over 1,000, patients there. And now we only have 116 beds. So working with the state, we're trying to get more beds for that facility. And there is dedicated funding to expand that facility. And we're looking forward to that.
Fantastic. Now, will those beds will serve the state, or are they primarily for the central region?
For the in-state.
Yeah.
For the state.
And Senator Luno made a bill a few years ago that any of the sales of the properties from the current Central Louisiana State Hospital, that those funds would go to the new hospital. So there are some ongoing funds that will be coming through the sale of properties in the future.
That's correct. There's dedicated funds out there for that.
That's wonderful. I wanted to ask you before we go to a break, we got a couple of minutes before we go to the break. We had a caller in the last hour, you may have heard, who was asking about striping, whose responsibility is it to stripe different roads? And he was specifically concerned with the expressway. He felt like the expressway striping was dilapidated and needed to be updated. And my answer to him was it was DOTD. So he said, well, who will take on the ball and contact DOTD? And I told him I would talk with you about it because we're in contact with them all the time.
Yes, sir. What we'll do, we'll send out a request to DOTD to request certain roads because even Edgewood Drive needs it too, at the turning lanes by Edgewood and 28. And also the cleaning of the overpasses on 167, 165. We'll try to work with DOTD, or if we have the capability, we'll get our Pineville Police Department to follow one of our street sweepers, and we'll send it over and clean up debris. Sometimes you'll see a chair or a couch hanging on the side of the limb on the edge of the road. As my way over here this morning, right there at the Jackson Street Bridge on the Pineville side, I saw some debris. So once I leave here, I'll be calling Public Works to make sure that debris cleaned up.
And you have a good relationship. We have a great relationship with DOTD.
Most definitely.
So that won't be hard to do. I think sometimes, I hate to say it, but sometimes it's almost like having a crooked picture in your house. You're so used to seeing it, but when the guest comes in, he straightens the picture for you. And so we drive expressway all the time and may not be as aware that the striping needs to be updated, but appreciate the caller bringing it to our attention, and I know you'll follow through on that.
Absolutely. Thank you, caller.
All right, well, why don't we take our first break of the hour, and we'll be back with Mayor Bishop and your calls right after this.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
This is Dr. Jonathan Hunter with The Clinics, where we pride ourselves in providing exceptional care. We offer a wide range of services, including primary care, family and chronic care, acute and urgent care, podiatry, and gastroenterology, along with an on-site lab and x-ray. Our new family medicine physician, Dr. Noah Miller, is accepting new patients. Same-day appointments are available, and most insurance and Medicare are accepted. The Clinics, 1587 North Bolton, 445-9823. Online at theclinics.us.
Hey, Louisiana. It's time to volunteer for Keep Louisiana Beautiful's annual Love the Boot Week, the state's largest litter cleanup and beautification event. Every effort, large or small, creates a lasting impact. So let's join the movement to make Louisiana a cleaner and greener place to call home. Love the Boot Week takes place April 5th through 13th. Sign up to volunteer or organize an event at lovetheboot.org. Brought to you by the Office of the Lieutenant Governor and Keep Louisiana Beautiful.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090.
Your local radio company is Sinlaw Broadcasting. We're all about local.
The Alexandria Lions Club is composed of civic-minded men and women that volunteer their time and efforts to various humanitarian causes throughout our community, Lions District, and Louisiana. The Lions motto is, "We serve." And if you take a moment to visit the Alexandria Lions Club Facebook page, you'll be surprised at how many good causes this club is involved with. Want to volunteer? Message the Alexandria Lions Club on Facebook.
This has been a public service reminder from Sinlaw Broadcasting.
If you'd like to take part in the show today, call the BOM Bank Talkline at 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. And remember, if you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, call Christina Bagwell at the BOM Bank Mortgage Department at 448-2430.
To take part in the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK.
And we're back on Talkback with the mayor of Pineville, Joe Bishop. So, Mayor Bishop, we talked a little bit about the rate increase again. Great job breaking that down. But new business on the agenda. A couple of great items you have.
Absolutely, and we're excited tonight too. We're going to be appointing our new police chief in Pineville. It's going to be Chief Roy Four. Roy is a 20-plus year veteran with the Pineville Police Department. Worked directly under Chief Basco, so he's well groomed, and I'm excited about that. We had 7 police officers take the chief's test, and all the officers were internal, and every one of them passed the test.
That's impressive.
That was very impressive to show that we got good leadership in Pineville. So we're excited about that tonight for Roy. Roy's real laid back.
It's a tough test too.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
Roy's a real laid back individual. So I had to tease with him in the staff meeting. I said, "So you want a band? You want a cake and everything?" He said, "No, sir." He said, "I ain't even telling my family about it."
Well, the cat's out of the bag now on the
That's
radio.
right. Yeah. So once again, congratulations to Chief 4. Yeah.
Excellent. And other things on the agenda. I know you're going to accept the contract, I think, for the substantial completion of the new runway at the airport.
That was a $1.8 million runway rehabilitation project of very own Pineville Municipal Airport. This project's been a major undertaking, and it's significantly enhanced the safety and functional for the airport. This is a big win for Pineville, and it opens up new possibilities for our community.
I saw a drone flight over it, showing off how good it looks. And I'm sure, I can't wait for they have hopefully a spring fly-in from the EAA, because
So yeah,
it'll be
I
great.
think they're planning on doing something out there. They haven't nailed it down exactly what, but I think they're planning on doing some type of.
Most definitely. And we're also going to, myself and the council, we're going to go forward with DOTD and ask for some improvements for our hangars and stuff. And it's free money from the federal government. So we're going to be going after new money.
Oh, I would caution you, don't ever say it's free money from the federal government.
Well,
the phones will light up because those are our taxpayer dollars. I'm going to warn you ahead of time.
It's some match money.
There you go.
Some match money.
But what a great, that's such a great asset for our community, and not every community has one, and it's probably one of the most picturesque airports anywhere. I mean, coming in and landing over a lake, and just the beauty of it there, the big old barn on the hill.
Well, something we found out last week, and I'm probably going to say this wrong. We found this out in the meeting, or I found this out in the meeting. It's one of the only registered or something of that area seaplane or waterway taxis in central Louisiana or the northern part of the state that's actually an
Certified
certified for it. So that's there.
Which actually got a ramp for the seaplanes to come up on land if they need to. And
right.
Yeah, that's a great asset.
Certified.
Yeah, it's a
England Airport doesn't even have it.
Well, they don't. I'm not in that business anymore. So you can throw shade all you want.
I'm laughing because they're also, in case anybody's wondering, the Friday before the first Saturday of every month, we're going to get a call to tell us that there is a breakfast there at the
BULO.
Experimental Aircraft Association, EAA. Yeah. So because we get that caller every month, and he doesn't get Mr. Bill lets us know about that. And I know you've been to that breakfast.
I've been out there several times, and they get great participation there. You even go out there and you see young people with their kids and stuff, and it's great to see. And with spring in there, people's going to start getting out and doing this, and bring your pole, fish.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of which, has there been any restocking at BULO? Do you know if we're going to be able to get any restocking done?
I'm not for sure. We have to reach out to wildlife and fisheries. Okay. But I do see people out there fishing.
I see them fishing. So. But I had the question, when they had when we had the drought.
Yeah.
Right. And there's that picture that's going around. I think Pastor James Greer took it of all the pelicans that were there.
Yes.
I think the pelicans were feasting on whatever fish were in the low water there. Yeah. So if people have been asking me, and I just didn't know how to ask.
We'll follow up on that.
Good. Thanks, Mayor.
Yeah, absolutely. And then also another thing coming up tonight, we'll be discussing the renewal of the franchise fees with Atmos Energy. Atmos Energy has been a reliable partner in the natural gas service for residents and business, and we look forward to continue the relationship. And we're finally going to be addressing some of the changes to our speed limit regulations at the Pineville High School. We have had several complaints from people not being able to climb the hill on Claiborne Street to turn into the parking lot. The current school zone is 15 miles an hour, and we're going to increase that by 20 miles an hour. We have watched this traffic and vehicle and pedestrian traffic over the past several months before proposing this change to the council. Safety is always a topic priority, and we want to make sure our roads are safe and for everyone.
Yeah, so how often do you see people increasing the speed limit, right? That didn't happen very often, but that's a wise move.
And we tried this. If you're coming from 165, coming up Claiborne, when you get to the steep hill, you can't get up the hill at 15 miles an hour, so we're going to have to increase it to 20 miles an hour. So,
that's right. The kids will still do 50, but
exactly right. Exactly.
I know we've got some dedicated traffic officers that go out and work that every once in a while to make sure, that was and that's kind of how it came about. I had heard this when I was chief. I had heard it, and then one of the traffic guys comes to me and he's like, every day I go over there and these people are complaining on it. And he goes, I actually did it. And he goes, it's kind of tough. So we worked with some people, and that's one of the reasons we're kind of making the adjustment. So, and the pedestrian traffic isn't that much.
No, there's
most of those kids,
zero.
Right. Most of those kids are driving.
Right.
You have some coming from Fairmount, Payne Street area, Military, which is the opposite side
direction.
of the school zone. And the streets that they walk down, there's the school zones are on that side. So it's something completely different that they work. So it works out all the way.
That's a good responsive action, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. So
not trying to forecast my vote or anything, but I think that's a good decision.
Yeah, that's right. So we want to encourage everybody, to come out to our council meeting. And like I said, if you can't make it, tune in on your TV. It's all live stream now. And any concerns. And if you can't make it to my office, give me a call and I'll come to your house and sit down and visit with you, okay, and find out your concerns, and we're going to work things out, And once again, if people have problems with their water bills, reach out to Troy Burns, and the number to his office is 449-5660. So please reach out to us and let us know your concerns, and we will address them or explain them to the best of our ability.
Well, thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it very much.
Absolutely. So before we let you go, just a couple things happening in Pineville.
Yep, we got two things upcoming. So we're doing a cooperative deal with Fort Randolph in the state park. It's the Pineville Randolph Easter egg hunt. It's going to be April the 19th between 11 and 3 p.m. A lot more details for that in the future. So we'll post it on our social media, and they will post it on their social media also. We're going to do some different age groups of Easter egg hunt, so that way big kids aren't running over little kids while it's going on. I think they plan on having food trucks, craft vendors, the whole thing to come out and bring the family and make a day of it. Hopefully April shower stays away that day, so it'll be able to work.
I love that. So that's got to be, is that the kind of first big community Easter egg hunt?
They did it last year by themselves. They did it last year, and they kind of were short on the eggs. So they came to the mayor and said, look, we want to try and do something together. And so that's what kind of came out of it. So Special Events is working with that. The other thing, Field of Honor, is going to be June the 7th through the 14th. That's when you see hopefully this year, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of American flags that you can get to dedicate to someone. Doesn't have to be a service member, just somebody that you think is prideful for America and everything that happens. When you come across the Jackson Street Bridge, you'll be able to see the Field of Honor on the right-hand side. They also have a Facebook page. It's Field of Honor 2025. Field of Honor Alexandria or Central Louisiana 2025.
I'm sure it'll be on our.
And we shared it yesterday on ours.
And so people, they need to go ahead and start buying now, though. Don't wait till the last minute.
Right. There's a registration link. You can go in. I think it'll bring you to a payment portal. In cooperation with the Exchange Club. It's a great event. We actually 2 years ago bought flags for all of our uncles.
Yes, there's about 6 flags.
About 6 flags we bought for some important
people. And you get to keep the flag when it's over.
Yes.
So the deadline to order is April 25th.
Okay, thanks.
April 25th.
And then the other thing, you've got dragon boats coming up in May.
Yeah, dragon boats. It's going to be, that's one of the things that's, we're great. I think this is the 4th, 5th year we've done it at Beulah with the museum. It's a great fundraiser for them. It brings a lot of people in. The teams have a great time. We're contemplating putting a team in this year. The city of Pineville, we're going to see if we can find enough employees to do that. We're working on that right now to see, but the city's a sponsor of it, and we're proud to be a sponsor of it. The museum is a great thing that's right across the bridge on the left-hand side, even though it's in Alexandria. I mean, it's a great asset to Central Louisiana, really.
No doubt.
TheMuseum.org.
TheMuseum.org. Well, our time is up.
That's it.
So,
That's it.
Mayor, great to have you in here. I look forward to you next month, Chief Vasco, and good luck with the council meeting
Hey,
tonight.
thank y'all. Have a good day.
Thanks, Mayor.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
This is the Bloomberg Money Minute. Southwest Airlines says it will begin charging some customers for checked bags, ending the 2 free checked bags policy that's been the hallmark of the carrier since its founding more than 5 decades ago. Scrapping the perk is the latest big shift for Southwest in the wake of a pressure campaign by an activist investor. And investors seem to like the news about the change in the bag policy. Shares are jumping higher in pre-market trading this morning. Kohl's and Dick's Sporting Goods are adding to the flood of companies raising concerns about the U.S. consumer. Comparable sales, a key sales metric at Kohl's, are expected to drop as much as 6% this year. Dick's also disappointed with the low end of its sales forecast and earnings guidance trailing analyst estimates. Futures were quieter this morning. Stocks plunged, though, to start the week on Wall Street as investors dumped market leaders on rising worries the economy is headed for a recession. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
Craving mouth-watering barbecue and juicy steaks? Head on over to Cole's Barbecue and Steakhouse, the top barbecue and steakhouse in Alexandria. Our warm and welcoming atmosphere is the perfect setting for a night out with friends or a family dinner. Indulge in our premium barbecue and steaks, fresh salads, and handcrafted burgers. Come as you are, we're ready to serve you. Visit Cole's Barbecue and Steakhouse today on Coliseum Boulevard across from the Rapides Parish Coliseum. Expect real good food.
Here's a personal invitation to one of our sister stations, Magic 100.9, where we play favorites from the 80s. 90s, quit playing games with my heart, and more.
What doesn't kill you makes you strong.
But all of your favorites and Delilah every night. Give us a try sometime. Magic 100.9. Do you have a drug problem? Do you want to stop? Well, there are folks who can help. Call Narcotics Anonymous at 1-585-DON'T-USE or visit their website at larna.org for more information. Our Tuesday a nice day with sunny skies, 76 the afternoon high. We'll see a southerly breeze at about 5 to 10. Clear skies tonight down to 48 for the overnight low. Our Wednesday, another sunny day. The afternoon highs near 78 degrees. And as we look ahead to Thursday, another nice day with sunshine. Afternoon highs near 84. And there's your forecast from the Cenla Broadcasting Weather Center. I'm Dave Gratian. Currently 42 degrees in Cenla.
Talkback. To take part in the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK.
And welcome back again, Sandra McQueen, Nathan Martin. And now we're joined in the studio by Sergeant Scott Moreau, who is the Supervisor of Public Affairs for Region 3 for the Louisiana State Troopers, in here to tell us a little about an open house they have. So, Scott, good morning and welcome.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Yes, we have an open house. We don't have very many of them, but we do have an open house tomorrow at Troop E here in Alexandria, 1701 Odom Street. And it's for Cadet Class 107. Currently, we have Cadet Class 106 going on. Our academy is 24 weeks. It's in Baton Rouge. And you have to stay down there during the week. The majority, I'm not going to say every weekend, because every academy is different. It's its own. But the majority of the time, you get to come home on the weekends and then report back on Sunday afternoons. But we invite anybody that has any interest in law enforcement to come and see us tomorrow. It's very informal, 10 to 1 at Troop E, and just bring your questions, if you've ever had an interest.
So bringing your questions, what will there be presentations, or is it just simply a one-on-one conversation? Will they be able to apply, or do they need to have applied before they come?
Good questions. So it's real laid back. It can be one-on-one. The way we've already had an open house at Troop G in Shreveport and Troop F in Monroe. And the one at Troop G in Shreveport, it was just they just kind of came in whenever they came in, and we talked to them. The one at Troop F, everybody showed up at 10, more or less, and sat down, and we kind of gave a presentation at the beginning and answered their questions. But it's very laid back. Don't feel tense. Don't be stressed out. Come talk to us. We want you to come and talk to us. You don't have to have the application filled out before you come. You can actually fill it out if you want to then. It's an online application, so you can get it off our website at lsp.org. And there's some criteria, though. You got to meet the minimum criteria to apply with us. And one of them is you got to have 2 years of prior law enforcement experience with arrest power. If you don't have the 2 years, that's fine. Then you got to have 60 hours of college credit, which is equivalent to 2 years. If you don't have that, that's fine also. Then you got to have 1 year prior law enforcement experience and 30 hours of college. So that's the third way. And the fourth and final way is if you have 3 years of active military. So those are your 4 ways. That's the minimum criteria. But if you can put your application in before March 23rd, that's the deadline, March 23rd for the Cadet Class 107, which begins in June. If you can get that put in by then we can get you set up for our PT assessment on April the 3rd down in Baton Rouge.
Right. Now, when they're going through the academy, through the class, are they paid during that time? I know you said they have to go back and forth.
Yes, very good question. So you'll start off day one of the academy, you're getting paid. You're not a Louisiana State Trooper until you graduate the academy, but you are getting paid. You got bills to pay, and you got a family probably at home that you got to support. Our starting pay is a little over $56,000. And then once you make your 1 year anniversary, not 1 year from graduating the academy, 1 year from your hire date, you'll be just above 62, which we can talk about that if y'all come. But there's other forms of, overtime and, like shift differential pay and all that kind of stuff that we can talk about.
So besides probably questions about pay, what are some of the other questions that the prospects, the recruits?
Retirement system is big. So we're at 3 1/3, whereas like school teachers are at 2 1/2. So for every year worked, you get 3 1/3% towards your retirement. So at 30 years, you're at 100%. But you got to factor in sick and annual leave. We accumulate sick and annual leave and K time. And all that applies towards your retirement as well. I can tell you this, no one can touch our retirement system in all the U.S. Our retirement system is second to none.
That's pretty impressive. Somebody could go to work for you at 22 years old and at 52 retire with 100% and still have plenty of life left to live.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm telling you, you can't match our retirement system. But we get asked those questions. We get asked what academy life is like, and I will tell you this. It's the hardest thing that you will ever do, but it's one of the most rewarding. Whenever you're standing at the academy on graduation day and you're surrounded by your family, because we usually have badge pinning like at 8:30 in the morning before graduation. And so you march in, and you're singing cadence and your family's all around watching this and videoing it. And then we spread you out and your family gets to come and pin your badge on you. That's when it was worth it. My son is currently in Cadet Class 106. And like I was telling Miss Pat a while ago, he worked for Pineville PD. And Pineville PD is a great agency.
They've taken some of our best.
They've treated him well. He made a lot of friends over there. They got really good leadership. I can't say enough good stuff about Pineville PD. But he saw an opportunity, and he grabbed it. He was hired, and he came back to me after the first week, and because my dad is also a retired Louisiana State Trooper, and so he's third generation, and he grew up around us. I told him what it was going to be like, and he came back the first week, and he's like, "Dad, I had no idea." And here he is surrounded by state troopers,
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of it is just being away from home, and being away from what you're used to, having to stay down there during the week, spend the night. And it's just, you got to have a good support structure at home. If you have children and you're married, your spouse has to pick up the load while you're gone. It's a lot that you got to factor into. But I tell you what, at the end of the day, when you put that gold boot on your chest and you're representing Louisiana State Police and you're serving the citizens of Louisiana and our visitors, then it's worth it. I tell you, I didn't plan on being a police officer. I was working at Lourdes Hospital in cardiology down in Lafayette. That's where my master's degree's in. And I said, I don't want to do this the rest of my life. And I made a career change, and here I am with 27 plus years. And I can tell you one thing, I'm glad I made the change.
Well, thank you.
We have no maximum age, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah, so, I mean, if like one guy that was in a previous academy, he had a whole nother career, and he said he's always wanted to be a Louisiana State Trooper, and he was just sitting around the house, and he was bored. He's like, well, let me go try to see if I can do this. He's like 55 years old, you know? And so you got to be physically fit. You got to be mentally fit, you know? But if you have the heart and desire and the want, you got to have it, you know, to get through our academy. Then we would love to talk to you tomorrow or any other day.
Excellent. Well, let's do this. Let's take a very quick break, and we'll come back and give everybody information on the open house and wrap up our conversation with Sergeant Monroe.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
Louisiana's moving forward. Crime rates are tumbling. Education, our best test scores ever. Governor Landry announced the largest jobs and economic growth project in Louisiana history. 10+ billion private sector dollars. Now we keep Louisiana moving forward with a yes vote on Amendment 2, March 29th. Amendment 2 permanently lowers the maximum income tax rate. It pays down debt and gives our teachers a permanent salary increase. It keeps the homestead exemption and exemptions for religious organizations. Amendment 2 doubles the senior citizen tax deduction. And Amendment 2 builds on Governor Landry's efforts stopping unneeded spending with a permanent government growth limit. Let's keep Louisiana moving forward by voting yes on Amendment 2. Paid for by Make Louisiana Great Again.
Your teeth are in need of a little dental work, but you're putting it off. Why? Could it be you can't stand the thought of wearing old-timey adhesive-filled dentures? Is it the high cost of dental implants? Or is it just the concept of having a dentist poking around inside your mouth? Whatever your reason, today's Dental in Pineville has it covered. And with hundreds of smiling, satisfied patients, they've made getting implants amazingly simple, low anxiety, and affordable for everyone. And with calming in-office IV sedation administered by a highly skilled certified nurse anesthetist, your anxiety will all but slip away. Plus, their multiple finance options make implants truly affordable. So why wait? If you're looking to replace your old-timey denture with permanent implants, give Today's Dental on Highway 28 East in Pineville a call at 448-4540. It's a general dental facility owned by Dr. Jonas Goche. 448-4540.
In Finlaw, keeping your lawn looking great can be a real challenge. And that's why folks have been choosing our locally owned and operated company, Promo Fencing and Lawn Care. Promo can also be your local choice for fence installation and new landscape installs. They're real pros about it, too, offering free estimates and financing for those bigger jobs, residential or commercial. Bring your vision to life with Promo Fencing and Lawn Care. Call 318-452-6265.
Teachers are diverse, skilled leaders, innovating to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Teaching saves lives. Are you ready? Explore teaching at teach.org, supported by the U.S. Department of Education and 1 million teachers of color.
Now back to Talkback, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
And we're back. Sandra McQueen, Nathan Martin, and it's Scott Morrow. I'm sorry I said Monroe when we went off to the break, but Sergeant Monroe. Again, let's remind folks there's an opportunity if you're interested in joining the ranks of the Louisiana State Troopers to come by Troop E at an open house. I think it is tomorrow?
Yes, ma'am. Tomorrow, Wednesday, March the 12th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's very informal. Just come talk to us if you've ever had an interest. If you're like on the fence, do I want to try this or not? Come talk to us. And if you can't make it tomorrow, then you can always look us up on our website, lsp.org. Look under public affairs. You can find myself. You can find a bunch of other public information officers. And also we have our recruiting section that's on our website also. They have an email address and a phone number.
So how does a trooper get to escort the LSU coach?
Okay.
How do y'all pick that trooper?
So
those troopers?
it's a process. So the lieutenant that's doing it now, Robert Fontenot, we actually worked the road together at Troop A in Baton Rouge.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I've been knowing Rob a long time. He's a stand-up guy. And then before him, the guy that was doing it, Brian Madden, he used to play football at LSU. He's like from Minnesota. You remember that guy? He's huge.
Big old guy.
Yeah, big old guy. But he retired.
Yeah.
And so now Lieutenant Rob Fontenot is doing it.
So I assume that's a pretty cush assignment. Not cush, but that's a coveted assignment.
Yeah, so actually Lieutenant Rob Fontenot is the lieutenant in recruiting.
Okay.
He used to be our executive officer in public affairs, and whenever we made our own recruiting section, then he went to them because he was doing executive officer stuff with public affairs and trying to do the recruiting. It was just too much.
Well, state police also provide security for the governor.
Yeah,
there's details,
services.
right?
Yeah, those men and women are specifically assigned to them.
And y'all do more than just road patrol as well. You have investigative services.
Yes, sir. We're not highway patrol in Louisiana. We're state police. So anything from writing a citation to investigating a murder, we're involved in. We have, like I'm part of public affairs, but we have detectives, narcotics, insurance fraud, gaming, special victims unit, hazmat, aviation. We have all kind of different sections of state police. So it's not just patrol. Our patrol is our bread and butter.
Mm-hmm.
That's highway safety is one of the main things that we concentrate on because we lose so many lives to traffic crashes, every year. And so that's the majority of what we do. But there's all kind of different sections of state police that you have the opportunity to go in if you're interested in that.
Excellent.
Well, Sergeant Moreau, thank you for taking time to step into the studio. Thank you and your family for your decades of service to the citizens of this state. Good luck to your son as he completes his tenure at the academy. And again, if you're interested in joining this very esteemed group, open house tomorrow, 10 to 1 at Troop E's offices.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And we'll be back with more Talkback right after this.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
Starting a business can be overwhelming, especially when you do it alone. Don't do it alone. Take control of your future with a Janny King Gulf Coast franchise. With Janny King, you get guaranteed initial growth, reliable operational support, and ongoing education to set you up for success. Janny King has built a proven system that gives you the tools to take control of your future confidently and with the support you need to thrive. The future is yours. Today at JennyKingCleans.com.
Jenny King, the king of clean.
Attention all real estate agents, property owners, and lenders. When you or a client needs a real estate attorney, call the professionals at Thompson Law Firm. Whether the legal matter is basic or complex, the Thompson Law Firm can accurately guide you or your client to a successful outcome. That's why numerous industry professionals have trusted the Thompson Law Firm for years. They also handle estate planning, successions, and business law. Call them at 473-0052. I am a paid non-client attorney spokesperson.
Joey from Vermont, a farmer trying to get through the winter. Adriana from South Carolina, a single mother living paycheck to paycheck. Liam from Ohio, an injured father struggling to provide for his family. Hi, I'm Shanola Hampton, and I support the Feeding America network of food banks because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
I was in the hospital with my son for 18 months. When he got injured, I knew I had to be strong. I just remember rushing into his room and giving him a big hug and letting him know I was there.
These veterans and families are just a few of the heroes we serve at Homes for Our Troops. We build specially adapted custom homes with features like wheelchair access and automatic door openers that allow them to focus on their recovery and family.
This house is freedom and hope. It's a new beginning.
Visit hfotusa.org.
Don't risk losing the trusted news, traffic, sports, and weather you get from AM radio stations. It's time to make your voice heard. We need Congress to pass the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act to keep AM radio in cars. When internet and cell services are out, AM could be your only lifeline. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress to pass this critical legislation now.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Freedom from drug addiction happens in NA meetings. It is possible to stop using drugs, and they can help. Call Narcotics Anonymous at 1-585-DON'T-USE or visit their website at larna.org for more information.
Talkback, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, SYL.
I can't believe that's the last break of the show. This show has flown by.
It's crazy how fast it's gone by today.
Absolutely. Well, we do have a caller on the line. Let's take that. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Hello. Okay.
All right. Going.
Well, locally, the Rapides Parish Police Jury is talking about handling the remaining part of their District 22 bond work in-house. They say there's an article in Rapides Journal that talks about that. Jim Butler put out, they had a firm, I think, out of Baton Rouge, and there was
CSRS, yes.
Okay. And so there had been maybe some dissatisfaction with how certain things had been handled. So today, the school board's going to be talking about, is that today or yesterday? I think it's today. They're going to be talking about
just continuing to manage the construction in-house, but they've got a few cost overruns, it looks like, on a few projects related to locker rooms that was that at Peabody, did I read? Where?
Well, I didn't say where in this article. It says that the estimate went up from 1.5 to 2.6 million. And so that's one of the concerns they have there. Oh, yeah, it is at Peabody. You're right.
Yeah, Peabody. The locker rooms are below a floodplain, and so they've got to fix that. So
they're also going to be talking soon. There'll be a bond issue coming up in Pineville in the next year or so. And so I'm starting to hear rumblings about, discussing what will be in that bond issue. So,
and one thing about Pineville, they have always supported that bond issue and Pineville High School and have certainly benefited from that. But let's try our caller again. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Good morning.
There we go.
I was calling to see if y'all going to be able to go over those 4 amendments that we're voting on on 29th, I believe it is.
Yeah.
Yes, Al has, we've got the Public Affairs Research Council coming in on Friday, and Al and I may try to do a quick high-level review on those tomorrow, but we definitely Friday's show will be doing a much deeper dive on those.
That'll be this Friday?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And I wasn't aware that you guys had done that. I was thinking about doing my shallow dive Thursday, but
please do. Yeah, no, take it on Thursday if you'd like to do kind of precursor, and then I'm going to double check the calendar, but I believe that's what Al said yesterday to make sure I am correct on that. I don't see it on the calendar, but I'm 99% sure, and I'll double check with Al tomorrow that we were having them on the show Friday.
You're out Friday though, right?
I am.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I hope that works out. I've got Dave Dagerpot coming in on Thursday with me this week, and so that'll be. That's kind of why I thought about it. But we'll talk amongst ourselves. But I will also.
But yes, this week we will be working through those amendments.
I also will publish mine on oversquozen.com. I always do a little write-up about it there, and it may or may not agree with you, but I try to make it simple terms, which is a little harder, getting harder to do sometimes with some of these amendments.
No doubt, and the court hearing that was asking for a temporary stay is this week. I just don't remember when it is. I'll have to go try to find that, but I don't know if that's going to impact what will happen either.
Right. I need to not close out the show, but before the show is over, wish my daughter a happy birthday. It's not till tomorrow, but I won't be on the show tomorrow. And we're actually having her birthday supper tonight because tomorrow night we have church night, Wednesday night. So we're going out for a big family meal and friends meal tonight, celebrating her. And she's turning 19 years old, my little baby.
Oh, wow, 19.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a Matt turned 19 in December. So, yeah.
Having kids grow up is fun.
It is fun. Yes, no, and that's why I'll be out on Friday. Stephanie has her last show at school. So it's a big, kind of a very jazzy sort of production, but it's nice the way it worked out. She will be in her last show is Saturday night, and she'll be in the last number of the last show. So it's a nice way for she and a couple of her classmates, friends to wrap up their senior year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, we get to talk about our kids on here from time to time, and that's just the beauty of a local show like this. People can call in and celebrate people, wish somebody a happy birthday, happy anniversary, and those are nice things about a local show. Speaking of local, I noticed in our show notes, today is National 311 Day. They say that 911 is to help with a bullet hole, 311 is for reporting a pothole. Well, locally, our number is 211 for community service the United Way. Not for reporting potholes, but
no.
if you're
do we have a 311 service here?
I think Alexandria has an app for that, but I don't think there's a regional 311. I don't know the answer to that.
I guess we could try to call it and find out.
Yeah, try it on the air to see what happens. No, just kidding. But I did want to highlight the 211 service that the United Way has been providing for quite some time. That service there, I think, just helps me as a pastor and somebody who tries to help people in the community come up with good resources. So.
Yeah, no, 211 is a fantastic service, and we've had Michelle Pearl in here several times talking about just sort of how to use that system, and that was how, if you're looking for tax preparation assistance, you can call 211, and they can help make the appointment with the program that United Way offers to do tax returns at no cost. So fantastic service, and the work they do here is, I'm a big fan of what Michelle and her board do, and tremendous asset.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Tuesday is in the books. That is the music. And I'm going to join Al tomorrow while Trish is out of town. And then you and Dave will take it Thursday.
That's it. Looking forward to it.
Hope everyone has a lovely day. And I'll see you tomorrow.
You've been listening to Talkback. The opinions expressed were those of the hosts and callers, and not necessarily those of Cenlaw Broadcasting.